Wow.
I don't know what was going on then.
It's like one of those Scandinavian art house horror films.
Scandinavian.
So?
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian.
Oh.
From Scandinavia.
It's like scary Scandinavians and
All
Scandinavian.
that too, yeah.
And on that note, welcome to the Superfunawesomehappytime Pedal Show.
Hey,
my name's Gabor and I'm confused.
Hey, I'm Alex and this is part 3 of the mood. We're going to do some sounds with combining the two sides. We've already done 1 and 2.
Yes. You can watch part 1 here.
Yeah, so we've checked out sides individually. Now we're going to see how they interact together, as well as some dip switches and things like that.
And you can watch part 2 here. Okay, so that was, I don't know what I was doing then, but I was doing something.
It was epic.
Yeah. So we're looking at today combining the two sides, and we're looking at a few extra sort of functions that we haven't really been talking about. So, like Alex was saying, part 1, part 2, we've been looking at each side individually, basically, separately. So we've got left side, which is the all block noise endeavors, collaboration, kind of reverby delay kind of side, and we've got the right hand side, which is a Drolo Effects collaboration. Hello, David. He messaged a few things and stuff.
Sweet.
Which is like a granular looper thing.
Cool.
That's the technical term for it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And today we're looking at combining the two. So we've looked at each. The one thing we haven't looked at yet really on this entire mood knob and switch thing, I'm speaking good today, is a center switch.
Yep.
Okay, so basically that's what we're looking at today and combining the two. So basically, the switch, all it does is pretty much, if you have it in the left. So actually, let's
Sure.
do a sound example. Okay. So we have young Alex here.
G'day. Sheridan through the amp. Sounds like this.
Okay, so now let's just record a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe not the stretch thing. Let's just do the tape thing, right? So let's just record a little bit. Just place or just do something, and we'll record a little bit. Okay, and that's my volume basically. So we've recorded this loop. It's a killer loop. We love it. Now, what that switch does basically. So at the moment when it's set to the left, if I turn the all blood noise side on, the loop doesn't go through the all blood noise side. It's not affected by the loop at all. Just what you're playing is affected by it. So if I turn this back on. And so on and so on. So it's basically it's like two separate pedals. You have the loop side and you have the other side. Now the other thing I can do is I can put this in the center position.
Yep. What
happens now is this runs into that. And if you play now, that goes through that as well. So that goes through the all blood noise side.
So basically the loop and the guitar both go through the...
Both go through the left side. And so on. Now, if I flick it to the right, the loop goes through the all block noise endeavor side, but your guitar playing doesn't. So that's basically that, yeah. So that's it. You tell the loop what to do, and you tell the guitar what to do. So it's a signal path, basically. Do you want just the guitar to go through the reverb delay side? Do you want both guitar and loop to go through the reverb delay side, or you just want just the loop to go through the reverb delay side?
Nice.
Because I mean, what you can do, for example, if we do it like this, so just the loop goes through it. We have a dark world here.
Kind of see it, can't you?
There it is. So what you can do is you can, for example, have the the loop just going through this, and you have your dry signal, and then you can have the dry signal because the dark world is in front of the mood, so ahead of it. So we're going guitar, dark world, mood. We can now affect it with some reverberization.
Mm.
And so on and so on. Everything else still works the same, right? So, and also the clock. So the clock thing we've been talking about in the other videos, it's basically a sample rate selector.
Yeah.
And that will affect both. So that affects both at the same time, and that's a dog. So if you do this... And you can just do that for hours. It's good fun. But so that it affects both. All you do is you're selecting which way things go.
Very cool.
And I think I'm not sure if I even mentioned it really in the other videos, but in the video about the right side, the looper is always on. So it's not one of those loopers where you push the button to turn it on to record and then push it again to loop. Basically, every time you see the light flash, it's a new loop that's recording. So it keeps recording. And then when you go, this, whatever I played, this is the most awesomest thing I've ever played. If you don't take as much time as I do now explaining it, you can just press the thing and it'll remember it. So if Alex plays anything...
Sure.
So just recorded what you've previously done. So you can go, this sounds kind of cool. Let's loop that. Actually, if you watch a video that we did with Dion on the saxophone, which you can watch here. Oh, there's lots of things up there. You can actually watch me sort of do it like there's somebody who plays a phrase and I kind of go, that sounds cool. Let's loop it.
Yeah.
And then it sort of repeats back and then you can manipulate it and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's basically that when you're combining the two. The other thing we haven't mentioned yet is there's another switch down here, which is a preset switch. So would you like to try out the presets this comes shipped with?
That'd be fun. I haven't checked in that yet.
So you can store two presets. You flick it to the right and it's red. You flick it to the left, the light in the middle goes kind of greeny yellow. And then whatever this is set to does not matter. And the dip switches as well, because it remembers all the settings and all the dip switch settings. So let's try the one to the right. I don't think I've even tried them out yet. So let's just try it. And it sounds like this. So I was trying to just...
You ruined Christmas.
That sounded cool though. That was good though. I like that. That sounded
cool.
So it's kind of like what is it? It's like a...
very paddy kind of...
And there's... Is there a bit of noise there? No, there was a bit of noise there before just coming from that. But it's like I don't know, what is this set on? Play again. Reverb.
Yes.
And then the other side, I don't know, it's set to one of them.
Stretch maybe?
So it's set so it goes through that. So that switch in the middle. So yeah. So that's one of the presets. Let's try the other preset.
Sound good.
Yeah, that was a bit more interesting. It sounded like it was windy.
Stacks windy.
So that's another. That's the 2 presets, and you can store your own 2 presets. You can also you've got this MIDI in here, where if you can either get, I think they have a switch called the favorite switch, their own Chase Bliss favorite switch, where you can store a bunch of presets, or if you have any kind of MIDI, like a effects looper, like a pedal loop switcher, like an ES8 or ES5 or any of the RGA mono or any of that sort of stuff, you can send MIDI information to it via TRS cable, and I think you can have up to 122. I know there's 128 MIDI commands, but I think some of the commands are to turn that on and off, because I think via MIDI you can turn things on, turn things off, and do stuff like that. So I think there's 120. Let's just say around 100 plus presets you can store in there, so you can have things preset that you like.
All right. So the next thing I want to check out is this bad boy.
Yes, dip switches, and with dip switches also the expression pedal. So actually, let's start without the expression pedal. I'm just going to get rid of this because I don't really need this.
Okay.
Let's start without the expression pedal, because you have the dip switches in the back. And this is not a major, explanation of how the dip switches work. We're just going to just slowly kind of go through it. You have these dip switches in the back, which you should hopefully see now on the other camera. And basically what they do is they turn on a thing called ramping on the pedal. Now what ramping means, it's basically as if someone stands here and turns the knob for you, right? Now, what you can set it to, you have the, what are they, 2, 4, 4, 6, 8, 8-ish or so dip switches on the left, and you've got 8 on the right. The ones on the left, or my left, your right, let's just say those. This is getting complicated. Those ones basically turn the knobs on and off. These ones make decisions. And the decisions are, so for example, what we can do is, let's just do this now, quickly, with reverb. Why not? Because it's on. So if I flick this down, and I also have, if you can see, I have this thing called bounce down. What bounce does is, instead of it just going, so what it does right now, it's as if someone stands here and turns a knob from there to where it was set before. If it's not set to bounce, this will happen once. If it's set to bounce, all it means is it goes from there to 0, back to there, back to 0, back to there. Yeah? And let's see, which one have I selected on here? Let's do that. Okay, because now, let's just start with that. So now, this is what it sounds like. So if I turn it off, it's the same as if I would do this, basically. If you want. It's basically that.
Yep.
Although we're set to, what are we set to? Oh no, the sweeper's set to that. Okay, no, so we're going up. Because what you can do with the other knob now, with the other switches over here, you can tell it whether you want it to go from 0 to where it's set, or from where it's set to full. And then you can also set, if it's a one-off thing, you can set it to, do you want it to go from 0 to where it's set, or from where it's set to 0, or from where it's set to full, or from full to where it's set, if that makes sense. So you can do a one-off thing, or you can do the bounce thing, and you can do it for each knob. So you can, for example, if you really so desire, you can set the clock knob to go up and down.
Nice.
And now, what also happens, as soon as you flick one of those switches, the mix knob freezes where you set it before. So at the moment it's frozen there, right?
Yep.
So it's almost at halfway. What happens now is that mix knob becomes the ramp rate. So for example, with this, it's very slow. Too slow. Let's go fast. Now the other thing you can do with it, be quiet. The other thing you can do with this is you can set what kind of a wave shape you want that to be. So you have a triangle wave or a square wave. At the moment it's set to square wave, but we can set it to a triangle wave. So it does the same thing with a triangle wave.
Okay.
And so on. So instead of it being a square wave where it's kind of like on, off, on, off, on, off, it sort of gradually goes.
Yep, cool.
Now, you can do that with each knob, yeah? Each one of the knobs basically you can set to, you can modulate it, and you can have them all, that's what the switches on the left, your left, those switches are for. So you can set one to go from where it's set to full, the other one is from where it's set to 0 and vice versa. So they can all go in different directions. But if you don't want the mood to do it for you, you would like to take care of this sort of stuff yourself, what you can do is you can hook one of these El Cheapo expression pedals up on into it. So you have on the right here you have an expression and CV input.
Well, let's go with the same settings.
Same setting.
But
so as soon as you put that in here, it overwrites the LFO inside.
Okay.
So now I've got to turn it on too. It's a loop you're controlling. And that goes for both sides again as well. So that's for the loop and for the sort of right side and the left side. So basically, you've got total control over all this stuff. It's also CV in, so control voltage. So you don't have to use an expression pedal. You can technically, if you have, for example, a synth that has a CV out, or if you have a MIDI keyboard with a CV out, you can assign the modulation wheel or mod wheel or pitch wheel or whatever you can assign, or any knobs, you can assign that to do that for you as well. So you can then, you know, if you're using it with keyboards and stuff, you can via CV, or with the modular system via CV, you can do all those changes. Yeah, so I think that's about it.
Cool. Should we just hear some combinations of sounds?
Let's hear some combo nominations.
So?
Do you want that?
No.
No? Let's unplug that. Let's just do...
Let's go for like the very swirly ambient type thing. For a start.
Oh, well, then I've got to turn that off, don't I?
Nice.
So that was the loop running through the reverb, and you were going through the dark world with a shimmer setting on and a
Let's
plate
go
reverb.
something more rhythmic, less washy and paddy.
Alrighty, jeez,
Yeah.
diva.
I know, right? You're now my pedal tech. Make me rhythmic-y. Rhythmic?
Rhythmic. Sure. Okay.
That was cool.
Was it? No, it's got a... mean, that's just some silly combinations, but I mean, that gives you an idea. So that's using the two pedals, the two sides together, looking at that switch, looking at some of the presets. You can store lots of presets, MIDI recall stuff, and dip switches, and expression pedals, and CV.
We do go into more detail in how dip switches work in I think the Dark World and the other Chase Bliss videos we do.
Yeah.
So
Or we may even do another video at some stage on the Chase Bliss dip switches, how they work. But I mean, all you got to think of is someone is, just fiddling with the knobs for you.
Automating that.
Someone's fiddling your knobs.
You don't have to do
And
it.
on that note,
Don't have to do it yourself.
please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Big thank you to Joel and the guys at Chase Bliss for sending this out. Absolutely awesome pedal.
Very cool.
I find it's absolutely amazing. Check all the other stuff.
Yeah, links below to podcast, Instagram, and Facebook accounts, and hit like and subscribe on the channel and video. We much appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Cheers, folks.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.